We got a big special episode for you. End of the year extravaganza. We're talking with some of the influencers that have influenced us the most this year,
making the biggest impact and making the changes that we have brought even to you. So take a look as we walk through the people that have made the biggest impact in our careers in 2024.
Quiet on the set, take 73.
First up, we have a man who needs no introduction, Russ Flips Whips.
The man, the myth, the legend, probably the most popular car salesman on all social media, the man that has started this guy's entire career.
Well, I like to say I started his, but you know, what started with the beef on TikTok with the Roman Toyota account about the Plinko board not being real somehow turned into Russ visiting the store. However,
spending time training our people,
which was super cool. And so, and then he came and trained again at the Honda dealership. So what's your biggest takeaway from Russ this year, Zach?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that we found out that when Russ and Jon Frederick came to our dealership, they didn't even know each other. So that was the con of the year 2024.
John is Russ's agent, for those of you who don't know.
But no, more than anything, it's that Russ took the time to obviously walk us through everything. And we've had a couple personalities grow up. Your channel personally has just exploded. We have a couple people on the sales floor that have done so well, but Russ really showed how it was realistic to sit down and do the content, create the content, and then to post it and keep it simple and make sure that it's fluent and it presents well and obviously highlights the company. And that's been huge for us.
Yeah, I mean, he is, I said this before, like he is a true professional. Like these guys that make it, it's not by mistake. Like he is a true professional. He's calculated. He learns from every video that he does. He asks himself why. And, and then he executes it. So it's really cool. And he's a great guy too. I mean, he's followed up with a lot of us just like, hey, you haven't posted a video in a couple days. Hey, change this on that video. Send me something if you want to edit it. So great guy. Excited to sit down with him for a few minutes and interrupt his busy schedule at Beyond A Lincoln for a quick interview. So here it is. Man, it's been great to get to know you this year. And you've done 2 trainings now with the Roman Group. So
yes,
wanted to have you on and just kind of sum up your 2024, dude. Like, how was it for you? What are the big takeaways?
Yeah, 2024 was great. I mean, it just shows the power of social media and all the friends that I've made along the way has been really cool. I mean, I have a long list of people that I talk to on a daily basis, and some of them I've never met in person. I send, if you guys know me, I like to send videos. I don't like to send text, so I just send like a video of what I want to text. And I think I sent out like 3 or 4 for Christmas to people I've never met. And I'm wishing them like the happiest and merriest of Christmases and, them good health and their family's good health. And I've never met them. So I think the social media, the notoriety that comes with it, but really the friendships and bonds that came from it were really, really cool.
You feel like 2024, like a year as a whole, really took off social media for you? I mean, you were doing well before then, but like, is this so far like your banner year with social media?
Yeah, certainly changed my life. I mean, I think in 2023, I came into 2024, maybe across all platforms, 300,000 followers, and now we're over 1.1 million.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, that's a 3x in the year. So that just changes the whole game. Brands that want to spend money with influencers, hate to call myself that, look at you differently when you have that big a following. People you meet, I go to Disney World, people recognize me. It's just been really, really cool. And I'm glad that I can just continue to be myself and make the same content. And I try to not let it ever change me.
Yeah, I'm glad that Roman Toyota really exploded your year for you. Like, if you need anything else, I mean, we could definitely help out more if you want to go bigger in 2025.
That sales event changed everything for me. I got to thank Warman.
Back to the Plinko board, that was insane. So what about 2025? What are the New Year's resolutions?
I'm not a big New Year's resolution guy.
Oh, come on, Russ.
Never really did one, but if I had to say what's on the map, what are the goals, what is going to get done? Staying consistent with the content. Don't fall off. Stay relevant. Stay consistent. Be willing to adapt. I want to get my social media training live online so every dealership can sign up, for a monthly fee versus Russ doing the nationwide tour, which will be a part of the training, of course, but to help sales guys develop, because I truly believe that you don't need these sleazy sales style car sales. If I could, would you? Well, why don't we go get the wife type of sales? I think if you can market yourself correctly and get your own clientele, you don't really have to be a good salesperson. You can just be yourself. So if you're getting your own clients from social media, you don't need to know all the word tracks. You just just be yourself and you'll close deals easily because people are coming to you just like repeats and referrals. That's how social media has been for me. I'm not really hard closing any of my social media clients.
And I think that's so pure too. I think that's where, if I could share with anybody, the secret and the sauce was for us. Was like, hey, here's what I'm actually doing. Here's how it works for me, and here's why you need to be doing it. And if you don't, great, good luck. But it's worked for me, and it's obviously blown up. And then we've seen it work for us too. So it's been a win-win. The question I have for you is, because you're still in the industry, what's the biggest challenge you see in the auto industry in 2025?
The biggest challenge in the auto industry in 2025 is really going to be customer retention. There's a lot of nice brands right now. There's a lot of good deals. And, the people that were loyal to you 5-6 years ago might not be loyal to you. And you have to make sure you're providing them an experience that's worth staying loyal to. Because although price is important, I think customer service and customer satisfaction is most important. So the days of, and I'm sure everyone said this, but the days of having the only car during COVID are over. So you do got to be aggressive in terms of your pricing, but everyone's going to be aggressive. So you got to take it a step further and provide that great customer and client experience. And to give you an example, a lady texted me at 9:45 last night. Russ, my screen went black on my Lincoln. I don't know what to do. I went on Google, screenshotted a picture of the dashboard, drew 2 little arrows. I said, hold these buttons in for 20 seconds. Within 30 seconds. She texted me back. I could show you if you don't believe me. I'll screenshot send it to you. She goes, oh my gosh, you answered me the day after Christmas in under a minute. This just changed. This saved my whole day. I couldn't do anything on my car. I'll buy every car off you for the rest of my life. That was last night.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah, the special access you have to Google as a salesperson. But no, that's so cool though, dude. I mean, and that's part of why we started this podcast, why we wanted to put content out there, is like, we want to connect with people like you who are doing great things in the car business, and you're taking care of customers. You're doing it different. I got one last question. We're making all these quick. So like, one last question. What was your favorite video that you did in 2024 of all the videos that you did? And I know you did a ton of them in 2024. No repost. Original video.
No repost.
What was your favorite one?
This one, you guys might not have even seen this one, but I just find it hilarious. This is one of those videos that's like, it didn't even go viral, maybe 200,000 views across everything. Can I say 2 videos? Can I please say
go
2?
for it. Yeah.
So,
no, only one. Actually, we take it back.
One video. One was the ad I did with Arby's, because I just thought that was hilarious.
Russ, we got the meats.
And what was cool about it was, one, I was going to tell them $500 for the video. It was my first brand deal. And my brother was like, if you tell them $500, I'm quitting. He's like, you have, at the time, 300,000 followers, 400,000 followers. This is January of this year. And I'm like, dude, how much do you think they're going to pay for a video? He's like, tell them 10 grand. I was like, dude, Arby's ain't going to pay me 10 grand. He's like, if you don't tell them 5, I'm quitting. I said, all right, I'll tell them 5. And they emailed me back in like 30 seconds. Sounds good. Where do we send the money? I was like, I said, that's what's that.
Did you tell him Beyondy Lincoln? Did you give him the address for the dealership?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And then the second video, which you guys might not have seen, this didn't go viral either, but it was if selling cars was an anime. And I just like pretended like it was like a video, but it was like I was in an anime, and it was just it was I really like anime, so I just thought it was hilarious.
I think it's funny that like the video, I know why it's your favorite because you got paid to do it, but then the other one, it's like your best videos don't necessarily do the best either. I was just talking with Logan about that. Like, we shot one the other day that I thought was hilarious, and you post and you're like, I know this isn't going to get a lot of likes, but for me, we got to post it because it made me laugh.
Yeah, and that's what's cool about the content. Sometimes just doing stuff that you enjoy, that you can show people and like get a laugh out of. It doesn't always have to go viral.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, Russ, we appreciate everything. Happy New Year. If you got anything you want to shout out, any pages you want to grow, rumor has it your LinkedIn page is growing like crazy.
Dude, I had a bet with John. I think I'm going to lose the bet because I just don't focus on it enough. But here, John cheats. So he just adds a bunch of people and they add them back. So John has 10,000 connections and 10,000 followers. I have 9,000 connections and follow 20 people.
Yeah.
So he cheats. He just
ratio? Don't they call it being ratioed or something?
Yeah, it's a terrible ratio. Shout out to my podcast, Social Showroom. Trying really hard. It's if you're looking to make content, I mean, I'm just interviewing the goats. Dealer Plate guy, you're about 50,000 followers off from being invited, so we'll get you there.
Trying to earn it. No, that's I do love your podcast. The only downside to your podcast, you don't do enough of them. I'll just tell you that. Like, I mean, I texted you the other day. I was on my way down to India. I was like, I want to listen to it, and trying to listen to it. And it's like, man, I only get one every couple weeks with Rogan. He's putting one out every day. So
I know. It's just
no, I do love it though. It's cool.
Time to do it, but maybe we'll do one. We'll just do one. We'll do one. You want to do one today, Dealer Play guy?
I don't know. I'm kind of busy. All right, and with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. No, seriously, thanks, Russ. Appreciate who you are, who you've meant to us, and
For sure.
Roman Toyota, Dealer Play guy, everything else, dude. Appreciate
and
it.
who do I send the invoice to for this interview?
All right. Whoa. Man, the biggest takeaway just there, honestly, is that the best videos sometimes that he created aren't the ones that do well.
That surprised me. It was like, what's your favorite video? I expected to be one. He did one with like dogs, or the one with the dealership gives you one key. I mean, ones that I remember because they were huge. He's like, no, it wasn't that.
It was the Arby's.
Yeah.
Who would have thought somebody who's, talking about car, media, social, dealership life gets a phone call from Arby's going, hey, we'd love you to make a commercial. Like, that just shows you, though, the presence of having a brand in front of you, knowing that automotive individuals are going to have lunch. And apparently Arby's is big in the automotive space.
I mean, it's crazy. There's an Arby's right across the street from us.
Shout
That's
out
a good
Arby's.
point.
If you want to get to us, it's the Driving Relationships Podcast. We would take $5,000 for a brand deal. No problem.
I do 500.
Yeah, we do 500, unlike Russ.
All right, so next up is Jon Frederick, formerly of Car Dealership Guy. He actually spun off and created his own company called Freddie Media. He manages some of the biggest social media content creators, especially in automotive, but now he's starting to branch out to other ones. So this is a company that's on like hyperdrive right now. Yeah. And so it's going to be really cool to sit down with him. He has such a cool vision and just such a passion for what he does.
Yeah, and I think that's why, if you want to know why he's titled Uncle John, that is why he's named Uncle John, is that he not only is in the weeds doing it with people, but he's making it happen fast. And it's opening eyeballs to individuals to see things they've never seen before. And I think that's where hopefully he shares a little bit about what happened in 2024 to make Freddie Media what it is in less than like 5 months. So take a listen. Uncle John.
This segment is brought to you by Freddie Media, the fastest growing media company in the world.
All right, so we have Jon Frederick of Freddie Media, which is the fastest growing media company in the world. Has to be, right? And a little sponsor for this segment, so appreciate it, John.
Thanks for having me, guys. How was your Christmas?
Good.
So 3 kids under the age of 8, after about the 3rd gift, you get a little worn out quickly of the screaming.
Did you guys get everything you wanted for Christmas?
I'm still waiting to open the presents. How about you? Did you get a good surfing?
I'm looking to do that in about an hour. But yes, I got a shot at it.
I got a package of those gummy bears. Remember the gummy bear incident that we had a couple months ago? They were amazing. The factory's right up here north of it.
Hey, it cost us $1,000 because of that.
Anyway, all right, let's get into it. So, John, you had a very eventful 2024. We just kind of want to recap. What were your favorite moments of the year? What stood out to you?
And there's only one real answer. So,
well, founding a company is really a big. Visiting Roman was definitely a highlight. And then I would say visiting Roman was a really great moment in my life because we got to go train a dealership in person. I got to say, hey, Russ, I have an idea. And then we got to go and do it in real life. And then undeniably, I think one of the best moments of my year was we did the Car Dealership Guy identity reveal at the cars.com booth at
That was
NAD.
cool.
That was a high wire act because, everybody involved, it was kind of like tense, high pressure. We were getting extorted and then we kind of like pulled it off. So that was that was really fun.
That was really cool. I kind of forgot that was this year, because it was the first part of the year, but that's where we had met because I had posted a job there on the CDG job board at the time. And then, you said, hey, you're with Roman. Thanks for posting the job, whatever. We connected there. So that was cool. We are wondering what piece of equity we have because we did bring you and Russ together. You guys met at the Drury Inn this year.
That is true.
In Lafayette, Indiana.
And I haven't seen the back page of the contract. So if you could fax that over to us, that'd be great.
Of the bill at the Drury Inn, the room
No,
service?
of you and Russ's partnership, because it wouldn't have happened without Roman Toyota, as we found out. You guys didn't even meet each other before walking into this dealership.
Did I misrepresent that? Did I make it seem like we were hanging out all the time?
Well, it seemed like there was actually a partnership, and then it's like, yeah, this was the first time I ever met Jon Frederick, and we're like, what? He got us for a training, and we literally never met?
The nature of remote work, yes, but you guys are crucial to my business. You guys, I do see you as partners, and I think that in the long term, I think as we continue to train dealerships, we'll certainly be working together forever. I think you and Austin and everybody, and the training that we're putting together, both virtual and right now, we're working with Russ to create kind of these video modules and do both live and virtual trainings. And I think Austin can be a cool stand-in for Russ, and Zach could be a cool stand-in for us. And then we're also just kind of building out that entire ecosystem, the community of giving feedback on content. I know Logan's become a valuable resource to a lot of dealers I've met that have asked me, hey, how do you do great content? I say, just talk to Logan. But unfortunately, Logan's so good at coaching them that they don't come back for training. Logan just he's got his own little side business. He teaches them how to do cap. Yeah.
We'll talk to him about that, but you kind of went into it a little bit. We're asking everybody, the highlights of 2024, and then what are New Year's resolutions for you? New Year's resolution, what do you got?
Man, I mean, I'm very blessed to have a great team around me. I think you guys know Savannah Sims. Nobody's put in more work to make us an actual business than Savannah Sims. I would say in the new year, I really want to focus on publishing and kind of emulating something like what you guys have built and kind of bringing up. We have all these great automotive personalities, right? But do they really converge to a singular place? And I think our industry is rife with challenges, anything from paywalls or like a place for automotive breaking news. And how do you really serve the industry better? The tip of the spear in what we do is training dealerships. That's what we love the most. And then downstream of that, we provide insight and we do consulting and all this other stuff. But I really want to kind of improve on the publishing ecosystem of our industry.
So then the question then leads into, what do you foresee the biggest challenge of 2025 being? Again, this company, I hope everyone understands, like, Freddie Media is so new, but is also moving so fast that it probably doesn't even feel like this thing launched 6 months ago.
Right. I think it launched in October. So, we have the most interesting.
See, right there. He doesn't even know when it launched.
Yeah, it's irrelevant at this point because we're just moving so fast. But, we have really fun deals where companies will approach us, or actually we approach most companies. Our biggest challenge is we're working with people and we're working with brands. So you kind of are the go-between to make things easy. So you're making it easy for the brand and you're making it easier for the creator. No one's making it easy for Freddie Media. We're kind of in between the two of them. We're spinning plates and balancing relationships and serving up an idea to a brand that they can bite on, be excited about, and find value in. And then also saying to the creator, here's this great idea I got for you, and it pays this much, and this is all you got to do. And then they go, well, I'll do half of that. And then we come back to the brand and we'll say, great news, they'll do half of that. And then effectively, we have to manage campaigns that way. However, what we've seen, guys, is this is the best way to do B2B sales and marketing in the business. It's even it's escaped automotive at this point. And we have really cool clients. I'm very thankful for our clients. If I don't know if I'm allowed to or blab or who we're working for right now, but that's
whatever you want to do. We'll put it out there, or we can cut it.
Yeah. I mean, we have cool relationships. I would say Dealer Club would be a cool relationship where we have, Russ and George Saliba and Yusuf Banal and Lucky Lopez discussing kind of the wholesale community and driving content back for inbound demand for Dealer Club. And we've been able to become very close friends with Joe Neiman, and that's kind of involved into kind of more B2B marketing for dealer clubs who are kind of taking on their email marketing as well. And I think that's what this business becomes on the B2B side, is really kind of media strategy, as well as kind of rolling out brass tacks classic marketing. And then on the creator side, it's all about just building businesses around these people. Because the three of us know Russ flips whips very well at this point, and Russ, I don't think
who
we just had him on.
Oh yeah, the guy before you.
We're at no risk of Russ publishing the Wall Street Journal. But what Russ could do is he could create the greatest sales training company, a media training company in the history of the world.
Yeah.
I look at Russ as kind of a Tony Robbins personality, and anything short of that is a failure on us. I think that Russ has the most potential, and he's just got this magnetic personality. I always jokingly describe him as the Robin Williams of automotive sales. And I believe in him more than anything in the world. I would bet the house on Russ. And I think that guys like him and George Saliba and everybody we work with, Benzsandbowties, they just have this enormous potential. And how do we really work with them to, realize it?
Yeah, that's cool. So you got a lot of work to do in 2025. I want to skip back to 2024. I asked, the creators, we asked them, what's your favorite video from 2024? What about for you? Like, what was your favorite deal maybe that you did in 2024? If you can speak to that, because I know you don't do a ton of videos, but
probably going to step on a few rakes and like say things that are under NDAs, but no, I am. What I'm most proud of is when I can take the most complex sale. Okay. Something that takes like going to Harvard and then playing golf at the right country club for 15 years and becoming best friends with like the giant, industry stakeholders. And then I love like trouncing that with a Russ TikTok or Instagram, where like we can sell in the most complex thing that takes like the world beating best sales, like smartest guy of all time. And then Russ is just like, hey, look, I want to buy a dealership, and like 30 qualified leads, like hit him up. And, if you and I were to cold call that, we could never do it. Or if we wanted to open a brokerage, we would have to go get world's best, like smartest guy to be our partner in it. Or you just have Russ do a TikTok and like, take over the world. So I would say discovering the highest leverage items that we can use media to solve has been the delight of my lifetime.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Hey, we appreciate everything. Again, if you want to know why he's called Uncle John, he summarized it just in this session. Like, instead of like founder of the company, I need to see the title as just Uncle John always, because that's literally what you do. And we appreciate everything. You obviously put us on to Russ, and that was huge for our company and the growing influence that we have and the leads it's brought and the social presence. And we're forever grateful for that. So, Uncle John, we appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. I'm very thankful to get to know you guys this year, become great friends with you, and hope to get to see you guys soon. See you at NADA for sure.
There we go.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well, this guy's too negative. He's too negative.
Right, so here's the thing about Uncle John. I think there's people that have some huge ideas. He definitely has some huge ideas, but like the dude's executing on them too. I think that's what sets him apart from other people. So like he has a big background in enterprise sales.
Yeah.
And then now like the dude's not even on social media and he's managing social media people, but like it's just his vision, ability to execute. That was really cool.
And I think when you're dealing with people in the automotive space, it's about executing today.
Yeah.
Because if you say, hey, we're going to execute, and you take 20, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, you don't follow up, they move on to something else. And Uncle John is creating things for, entrepreneurs, businesses that happen today. And I think that's where the power in social is that we've seen it ourselves, that if I want to contact 60,000 people, I can do it in the next 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Or I can sit at the front door of my dealership and pray you walk in, which please walk into Rorman Toyota. So who's next?
This guy is one of the most formal content creators. He is always dressed to the nines with his bow tie. It is Doug of Benzsandbowties. And we all know Mercedes-Benz in North Olmsted. No clue where the heck North Olmsted is, but I do know the dealership. And that speaks a lot to his social media and what he's grown there with his brand. So
for sure. Probably the most prominent Mercedes-Benz dealership in the United States. I mean, maybe because I run a Toyota store, I don't know any other Mercedes-Benz stores, but I do know Mercedes-Benz of North Olmsted because of Benzsandbowties. So let's check out what Doug has to say and what his 2024 is and what 2025 hopes to be.
You want to intro this one?
Well, before we get started, I mean, the real question is this. Are you even an influencer if you don't wear a gimbal to a Christmas party?
I laughed so hard at that. I thought it was a mini guitar.
Yeah, somebody messaged me and said they thought it was a ranch bottle, like a bottle of ranch.
That's incredible.
It couldn't have been more perfect because literally 2 minutes before that, my dad, as we're doing Christmas presents and all that, all of a sudden he has this realization where he goes, oh my God, I bought this gimbal a couple years ago that he was going to use. He races vintage motorcycles. That's his hobby.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, I'll use that. I'll take it to the races and use it. He never really got around to doing much with it. So he's like, do you want it? And I was like, sure. Right. I'll take free gear. Like I'm all for it.
Okay. Well, the story makes it better. That's good to know.
Yeah. So he brings it out to me at, now the Christmas dinner party is kind of going on a little bit. He brings it to me, hands it to me in this case. I'm like, wow, this is like really like a full carrying case and everything. So I'm like, I got to get this out to the car. I throw it over my shoulder. And as I'm walking kind of out that way, I bump into like my sister and my uncle, and we just start having a conversation. And then of course my wife sees this and was like, at the ready with the camera and just
I love it.
Hey, she's been trained well to be ready for it. I mean, that was a moment. We were laughing so hard about it just a second ago. So
yeah, it was hilarious. So anyway,
well, I think
how
the
you
biggest
guys
one
doing?
for us, I mean, we're doing great. Obviously, end of the year's here, the final push, so we won't take too much of time. I think the biggest thing for us is like, what is Benz's and Bowties' biggest memory? What's the kind of the highlight of 2024? Whether it's a video, an interview you did, somebody you met, what's kind of the one you look back at the end of the year and say that was kind of the pinnacle of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to gloss over this and put it all together, but just the fact that I'm sitting here right now talking to all of you as Benz's and Bowties is kind of like the culmination of the biggest thing that happened to me this year, where, let's call it late June, I think to myself, hey, I'm going to start really diving into this social media, give it a chance. And then by, let's call it the end of July, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I'm monetized on TikTok. People actually care about these videos that I'm making. I think my first video, maybe a few days into August, went viral, where I had like 1 million views by the end of the day. And I'm just like, that was probably the day where I was like, what is happening? This is wild. Yeah. So it's been just a huge game changer for me. It's changed my life in such a positive way, because it's taken this business that I love and made it that much more fun, if that makes sense. So the fact that I'm talking to you under these pretenses is definitely my favorite, part of 2024.
What's crazy too, like you throw those dates out there like June or July. So were you doing a little bit on social before that, or like none at all?
Let's call it like once per month, I might randomly throw up a couple of pictures. So it was,
oh, wow.
I was barely engaging with it at all, but it was like the very end of June, where I was like, when I, calendar turns to July and I'm going for it. And so, yeah, it's really been since July that this is all kind of.
That's crazy. Cause I was like, as long as I remember, if I see a bow tie, I'm like, oh, that's Benzsandbowties. Like, I feel like you've been around forever. That's crazy.
Yeah. Which is cool. I love that. So
I think we've talked. Yeah. Right. I think we've talked a little bit about this as well. Like, it's helped us with some of like even the creativity of just day in, day out operations. Yeah. Like, because our mind is in create. And it may be like, obviously Austin and yourself are doing it in front of the camera, and I'm trying to push individuals to the camera inside our company. But it's also like these ideas that are coming up that then help us in a car deal or in a service situation, or, changing the business platform. And it's been just kind of creative for us to even be in a different mindset in 2024. So I could definitely see where that's been reinvigorating to the business that you love. So kudos 100%. To that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is the Benzsandbowties forecast for next year then? What's like maybe a New Year's resolution you have, or like, man, I got to execute this in 2025?
Yeah. So, I'm at the point now where I really have to, dial in my process, because it's become, making the content and engaging with people has become so hugely important and fun for me that I realize I need to like organize it a little bit better, right? Because I'm also still running a sales department for a very large Mercedes-Benz dealership. And when you're trying to juggle all of that, and it's been a little bit hectic, because it's like, I never thought that I'd have to be thinking about these things, and now I am. So, it might mean hiring a videographer, somebody that can come maybe a couple hours a day, a couple times a week to film, maybe some editors, all the things that I haven't outsourced, just to give me some time back so that I can be more efficient with it, because I'm having fun with it, but I don't, I feel like now, oh man, all these great ideas that I have, and I don't get around to, filming them or editing them, because I just literally don't have enough hours in the day to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, like, especially with having roles, like we do in the dealership. It's like, you got to keep the main thing, but you're also like, wow, these videos are actually great and they're taking off and people seem to be enjoying them, loving them. It's changing the perception of the auto industry. But yeah, you do have to be careful in balancing your time. So I love that one. That's one that we're battling right now too. It's like, we got to schedule these after hours or Saturdays, late at night Saturdays, or Sundays even come in, do that sort of thing. So
yeah, it's tough, because we have the unique, we're all working for a franchise dealership, which working for a dealership when you don't own it is already part one. But then when you're tied to a franchise, right, there are just some things that come with that wouldn't be true for an independent, or a dealer where you're a part owner and you can kind of do whatever you want, right? We still have people that we have to answer to that have a certain level of expectation for what our performance is and the performance of the store, and making sure that Toyota's happy, Mercedes is happy with our performance, right? There's a lot to juggle outside of just making the content and engaging.
Yeah, but it's totally worth it to keep making the content.
Well, and that's where I'll share this story again. The very first time we ever, did anything, it was a TikTok live, but Austin and I were prepping for it. And I even asked the question, like, where is their store? And I went online and just typed in Mercedes-Benz, because we were actually going to make a parody video about Jared is what we were doing. So we needed a Mercedes model to make a parody video. And I typed in Mercedes-Benz. We're in Lafayette, Indiana. So we are 7-8 hours away from you. And the first non-paid, so Google non-paid link for a Mercedes dealership was Mercedes-Benz North Olmsted. And like, that's the power of your social. And like, when ownership groups and everybody start to go like, hey, you're wasting time, you're doing this, where does it benefit us? Where's the ROI? Why in the world would my dealership, my search that comes out of Chicago, Illinois, being, an hour or 2 hours away from us, why would I get my first non-paid sponsorship to be your dealership? Because of the presence of what you're driving, clicks, eyeballs, SEO, SEM, everything. So yeah, that's kind of the power of social media for dealership operations. And again, we're starting to see it for the first time. Kudos to you guys, because that was awesome to see from a dealer operator going, that's why I keep my people doing it. That's why I'm okay with them spending time on it.
100%. And, to piggyback on that, when I was reading through the questions that you all were going to ask, one thing I did think of, and I'm glad you brought this up, I've now heard from maybe 3 people kind of independently, some version of what you just told me, where they've said, man, you guys are becoming like the most known Mercedes-Benz store in the country. And I thought, how cool would that be? That if we can reach this point where when people think of Mercedes-Benz, they think of Mercedes-Benz in North Olmsted, or they think about
crazy, insane,
Benzsandbowties, right? So I would say that one of the things that I definitely have on my list for 2025 is to accomplish that. And there was a video that some gal in California put out like a week ago. She had a bad experience with a local Mercedes-Benz dealership. Her family did, because they sold a car out from under them. I'm not sure the full story, but I got tagged in the comments of that video like 400 times, which I thought was so cool, where people were like, should have called Doug, like should have gone to North Olmsted. That would never happen there. And I'm like, this isn't unreal. I would have never thought 6 months ago that I'd be getting tagged in videos like that. So
it's awesome. I have one last question, and we'll end it on this. What was your favorite video? You already kind of said one that went viral, so you can't use that one. What was your favorite video from 2024 that you posted?
I think my favorite videos. What's that?
I said it could be any of the videos.
Probably my favorite video, and it wasn't even like that exciting of a video, but the situation, the circumstances around it, like just caught me so off guard that I think about it every day, which was when we had a guy who actually was here today, by the way. He stopped by and said hi, from Michigan, so not even local.
Yeah.
And he had a G63, right? Kind of the holy grail of Mercedes-Benz that everyone's always, trying to chase down. And he wanted to trade it in for a GLA 35 AMG, which is like our smallest SUV.
Yeah.
Not even the full blown, hand-built engine, like the kind of the performance model. And when my sales guy tells me so that he's got a G63 and he's looking at our GLA 35, it was like I just got hit over the side of the head with a sack of bricks. Right? I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what did you just say? Like, I didn't think that, like, I thought he was just making a joke.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the guy was like, yeah, I got it out of my system. It was the previous gen, so it didn't have keyless entry or touchscreen. And he was like, I'm kind of annoyed by the lack of technology in the car. And I'm like, okay. It just was the most memorable situation maybe ever in the history of me being in the car business, because I was like, I've never, ever seen somebody do that move before.
You're not supposed to go from that vehicle to that vehicle.
Right. And then seeing the internet come up with all their wild theories about why that was happening. Like, oh, he must be broke or this and that. Like, he must have like $1 million in negative equity. I'm like, no, the thing's practically paid off. Like, I don't think any of that's what's happening here. I just think he just literally doesn't like it,
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for giving us some time here, especially with month end, year end. We expect big things in 2025. I know your brand's going to continue to grow. Congrats on the success you've already had. So
happy New Year.
You've been doing awesome.
It's been fun.
And Zach, I have to, once again, I want to thank you because I give 3 people the most credit for helping me to get over this hump, right? There was Russ, who he just kind of was the OG, right? He started this off, and then George, and then your interview that you did, it must have been one of your very first podcasts where you're talking about, hey, instead of chastising my team for being on social media, I'm going to encourage them to be on social media, because if that's where everybody already is, and that's where we need to be. And that for me was like the final light bulb moment where I'm like, yeah, it's a good point, right? We're never going to stop people from using it, right? So we may as well be in front of their face. And that's,
and in 6 months, you have how many followers now on TikTok?
160. And, when you add them all up, it's probably 250, 300 somewhere. Yeah,
we got to get him on there now,
no,
Doug.
I'm out.
Come on.
Road to a milli. Benzsandbowties. Road to a milli 2025. You heard it here first.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Love it.
All right. Well, so wait a second. He's only been posting on social media since June or July. Did I hear that right?
Yeah. Minus 1 or 2 photos every other month before that.
Are you serious?
6 months, over 250,000 people on all platforms.
That blew me away. I feel like he's been around forever. Like I said, I was like, what?
Nope, not even. Literally 6 months, and he grew a platform, and now I can't look at a bow tie without thinking about Mercedes-Benz, and I can't see a Mercedes-Benz without seeing a bow tie.
I think they're going to start putting the bow ties on the front of their cars.
And
they
I'm
should
just saying,
anyway.
right now, let's cut John out before, because he won't see this before he posts it. Let's get in touch with the bow tie company. I think we can have retirement.
We need to make one. We're going to make the Doug Benzsandbowties edition of the bow tie.
And you can buy it on our website that doesn't exist here.
Next guest is the GOAT for real.
216.
Yes, Goatforreal216.
Not the fake accounts.
Right.
We got to ask him about that. There's got to be a reason why he's got so many burner accounts.
Yeah, it's very odd. I don't know why he does, but I tell you what, Goat, on a real level, like he challenged me with the social media back when I was just starting, was like, dude, you have the talent for this. I identify talent. I see talent. Like, you got it. Don't give up. Push. So I'm excited to have him on. Just talk to him a little bit about how his year was. I'm sure he's got some exciting things to share for 2025
Anytime you meet with Goatforreal216, Sean, it is a crazy story. So I promise you, once we hit play and he starts coming on, it will be something that blows your mind. Don't know what it's going to be, because that's the beauty of working with Goat for Real. So Goatforreal216, don't follow the fake accounts.
Yeah,
dude, I don't know why I have so many fake accounts, bro. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, I mean, I guess in a way, like, I guess I should be somewhat flattered. But, I mean, really, they're just using my, likeness to rip people off. So, I mean, it's hard for me to be flattered about it.
Kind of makes sense. I thought it was because you were very, catfishable. You know the term catfish?
Very Manti Teo.
Yeah. Hey, all of a sudden, Manti Teo's an announcer on, I'm watching something, and I'm like,
I saw that.
Is that Manti Teo? I'm like,
how does that happen?
How did Manti Teo make it back into my life? I thought I was done with him.
Well, let's recap your 2024 a little bit. How would you sum up your 2024? Just in terms of social media or whatever else was going on.
Like,
when you look back?
Yeah, what was the pinnacle? The one thing that you look at on social that you go, that was the highlight.
On social, certainly for me, the Schaumburg Honda grand opening with the Rohrman Auto Group was a highlight for me. I mean, that was such a great event, and I know that you guys had very little to do with it. That's why I can say that. But it was what happened?
Nothing.
I don't understand. I thought we were talking. But anyway.
This is why
we're good.
This is why he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not giving you guys any credit for it. I'm just saying that, overall, it was a good event. Gave me a chance to spend time with Russell. It gave me a chance to spend time with Austin and Zach, you guys, who I had already sort of admired from a distance a little bit. What you guys were trying to build, to me, I saw it, and I knew that you would be successful. So it was kind of cool for me to play some tiny, small part in your guys' journey. But dude, that was such a great event. So I would think from a social media standpoint, the grand opening, it had to be.
What do you foresee as the biggest challenge coming in 2025?
Well, from the dealer facing side, I assume you're talking about. I think it's going to get extremely narrow on the margin in margin. I mean, I think it is just going to continue to shrink. Now, if you're selling Toyota, then you may be able to hold margins longer than most, right? I mean, maybe because it's just such a great product. But I think that margins are going to continue to shrink. And the reason I say that is because the third party sites, guys, which we've had this discussion, I think we all know we hate them. You know what I mean? At least I have a deep dislike for them, because the only way you get any traction on there is to make your car the cheapest within 500 miles, which means you make no money. And if you aren't the cheapest, you don't get any views. So it's a scam. And a good one, though. I mean, they're smart. You know what I mean? But I think that is just going to continue to shrink margins, these third-party sites. And social media, certainly you guys being even at the forefront of it as dealers, from the dealer side, is going to continue to push these third-party sites out as more guys say, you know what, I could do that. I'm going to make a video. I could post that. I could do that. And as more people become less intimidated by making videos and putting themselves out there, the third-party sites, I think they're going away in 2025? No. Do I think that they'll be prevalent anymore in 3-4 years? I really don't. I mean, my opinion is I think that they will be a thing of the past during our, you know what I mean, in our era. So I think that's going to be a big challenge.
I think it's a good prediction. I think that, if they don't innovate and change kind of their model, it could be, I hate to say it because I feel like people use this all the time, like a Netflix blockbuster type scenario, right?
It could be. And Austin, I'll tell you what, and I think that this probably trickles over to the fixed ops side to some degree, not as much as on the sales side, but you see these third-party sites panicking. And I tell people this all the time. If you don't believe that third-party sites are going to be a thing of the past, here's all you need to know. Go on Car Gurus and see if Facebook bought any ads on there to try to grab customers. Now, go on Car Gurus and go on Facebook, I should say, and see if Car Gurus, Cars.com, and Auto Trader are spending money to be on that platform. The reason that they're doing it is they're like, holy guys, they're eating our lot. hey,
it fell.
Yes. There we go.
I love it.
I did it.
All right. So Austin, we have about 60 more seconds before that panel falls again.
Yeah.
So Goat 2025, what's the New Year's resolution for Goatforreal216?
Man, dude, I want to finally do what I really like to do, boys. I mean, Austin,
love that.
You know this from seeing me at the grand opening. I jumped on the desk way out of pocket. Yeah, and was like, I just wanted to be on the desk and sit there and But the reason that I sit in a dealership for 8 hours or 10 hours a day when I'm at a dealership, it's really for that 1 hour combined, or maybe 2, where I'm training and I'm helping a salesperson and I'm explaining the business to them and giving them ammunition to become a better sales professional. And so my New Year's resolution is, why am I giving ABC dealer 10 hours of my time a day just so I can steal that 1 or 2 hours away with a sales associate and a customer?
Yeah.
I'm going to spend 10 hours a day doing what I want to do, which is coaching and helping and training salespeople. And as of right now, you couldn't pay me enough money to go back to a dealership. So that's my New Year's resolution is, I'm 50. Dude, it's time for me to do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? That. I mean, that's where I'm at, man. And just have a better quality of life and affect more people in a positive way. And, that's where I'm at.
I go back to like the grand opening, and you had pulled me aside and said, dude, you got to stick with this social media stuff. You can do it. You got the talent for it. And I've told you that multiple times, like that stuck with me every day. I'm like, I need to make a video. Like that stuck with me. So I can only imagine how much impact your platform is going to have with salespeople. So excited to see how that evolves. I want to ask you one more question.
Sure, man.
One more question.
Yeah.
Back in 2024, what was your best video? And not in terms of like views or anything like that. Just what did you think that your best video was last year?
Probably, I would say my favorite video is, you know what? It's one that I did at Schaumburg.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because, dude, it's training. I mean, it did 2.5 million views. Helping a salesman make his very first sale. It was working with.
I remember that. That was a good one. That was so good. When I saw it, I was like, this is it. This is amazing.
That's me, bro. That's me. You know what I mean? I'm talking, I'm teaching, I'm coaching. Yeah, we're making some money and we're making a car deal. That's awesome too.
Yeah.
But, and because it affected that salesperson, in the way that I wanted it to. And, you know, judging by the comments, the customers also got to see a side of us, salespeople, manager, whatever, that that they really liked and enjoyed. I got so many great comments like, man, you are still today, you're such a great manager. You're such a good teacher, this, that, and the other. And that enforced for me, this is what I want to do. Like, so because of all that together, that's probably my favorite video.
I'm excited to see what Goat does. I think his training is going to be crazy. That's so cool that he's working on that platform. I will be one of the first to subscribe when it comes out, even though it is for sales. I just kind of want to see what he's been working on there in the Bat Cave and, you know, what he's going to roll out for next year.